Hey everybody, welcome to our weekly Ecosystem Office Hours call. I am your host Jinx and joined as always by the best and brightest in the Pocket ecosystem. I'm still recovering from jet lag and unfortunately I think coming down with something maybe travel related. So forgive me if I'm a little low energy today. We're going to start out with our protocol updates from Olshansky.
Yo, before I get into it, can you guys just confirm that that you can hear me fine?
Yep.
Awesome. So it's 1st of October, and everything on the protocol side is moving at a very good and steady pace. So the plan for the month is to release version 0130. As soon as we have an exact date, we'll inform the community. It'll be at least a week in advance, and we're going to be aiming for 2. In terms of feature sets, kind of what we're working on right now and what we want to release is everything from really closing the loop on relay miner performance, adding a few on-chain features like service maintainability and potentially on-chain counters and other things, kind of some quality of life improvements around making sure that the chain doesn't go too fast. So it's a lot of kind of tying things together on performance. But this is also going to be the first step to really unlock the next feature set, like on-chain metadata and other things. So we might kick that off in 130. We might leave that to 31, depending on how beta testing goes and other quirks. But that's kind of the plan, and we've got maybe half a dozen to a dozen things in review right now. That's it from my end, and I'll hand it off to Fred for Portal and Grove updates.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Olshansky. I'll be very brief today. You may have seen that there have been a number of PRs improving on the path side, improving both the efficiency of path and the throughput, as well as rolling out the first editions of what we call the Portal DB. This is a centralized configuration and all-in-one app database that is going to be rolled with Path. This will also enable us to start thinking about migrating our front end into Path and making Path an all-in-one vertical solution to run your own gateway, meaning user management, payment management, and also dispatching your requests to Pocket Network. So that's really what we're thinking about and what we're on top of. We're also in the midst of our final, hopefully, I won't say final, but final for a while, infrastructure migration. Our infra guy had a baby recently, so we're working through that a little bit slower while he's out on paternity leave. And lastly, on the strategy and outreach part of what we do, we are very aggressively pushing for customers past, present, and future to come back. We have some preliminary data that shows that we are meeting or exceeding the quality of service on Alchemy and QuickNode pretty consistently now with Path. So that's very exciting. And we're also offering a year-end special to be the cheapest in the business at just $1 per million relays, no compute units, no nothing. So we're doing everything that we can to turn the relay engine back on. That's it.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. I'm obviously just back from our trip to Korea last week, which was extraordinarily productive. We had a good time meeting with a number of developer groups and such out there, including Decipher and SIU, the university groups where a lot of engineers are learning blockchain now and learning to build on it. Got a chance to hang out with Ben and Andrew Kim from Over Protocol, who we are working with to get the first Korean gateway up and running. Also met with, while we were there in the course of a dinner, met with the SubSquid and Accuras teams, and we are looking at how we can look closer together to help build on what we call the unstoppable stack, which they both provide decentralized compute and decentralized data lakes and other indexing services, which are a great match for Pocket's permissionless and decentralized data delivery network. So I'm super excited about that. We also met with the GIWA team and very interested in working together with them to help drive adoption for the GUA chain. And they are specifically looking at how they can engage Korean engineers to build apps locally. One of the things that has been missing for Korean developers is native Korean language documentation and support. So a lot of them have to try to muddle their way through primarily English language documentation and such, and without native language support. So GUA is specifically focused on that marketplace and on driving adoption there. Also had a chance to talk with Lowell at NodeFleet while we were there about what we think might be some emerging ideas on how to further drive blockchain adoption just in general for some of the segments of the marketplace where we think it makes the most sense, like integrated services for gaming and such. And looking forward to seeing how we can bring those ideas back to GUA and hopefully drive that to be a highly trafficked chain on our network. We also are expecting some additional traffic from a few different places this week as we see some of our supported networks begin to get a little busier during October. We're hoping that relays reflect that along the way as well. And for anyone who's paying attention to registered services on the network, I think you'll find that our numbers are getting higher and higher. I'm pretty sure we're close to 90 registered services at this point. Actually, a little more when you factor in some of the one-off things that have been registered for testing and such. So I think that we are well on track to be over 100 registered services before the end of the year. So excited to see that growing as well. And Kansu, I see you're on the meeting as well. The Q3 PNL was published this week on the forum, so you are certainly encouraged to go out there and take a look at that. We are, as always, committed to providing transparency in the DAO regarding the budget and the funding. One of the things that you'll probably notice is that expenditures were a lot higher over the course of Q3. Oh, Fred says he's got 148 services already. Oh, but with the addition of Cleomedes plus Grove, so that's interesting. We'll have to dig in there and see how many of those are distinct. If there are over 100 distinct services already, then that's pretty damn awesome. But at any rate, the P&L for Q3, we did expect higher expenses associated with the actual migration, and of course we ran into that. We do expect that Q4, the total expenditures are going to drop significantly once again as Kansu works her razor blade on making sure that our expenses stay as low as they possibly can be. I did see some questions this morning in the den regarding runway time if the market for Pocket stays beat up for a while. We do have the ability to run on a skeleton framework for I think at least a year. So the foundation, even if the market were to stay bad for some time, the foundation's not going to go away and the project is not going anywhere. But we do expect that with the growth of some of our services, along with new partnerships and a return to higher quality of service with BD coming from Grove and other entities, that we're going to see a greater push for adoption in Q4 and, hopefully an associated growth in market value as well. So I think that is everything that I have on my list. So I will open it up to the floor. Oh yeah, Crypto says he's tracking 58 services on mainnet. So I guess it depends on where you're looking. Fred, Crypto, y'all wanna, do we meet in the middle and call it 100? Ramiro says testnet has thousands of services. Yeah, that would be expected. Oh, yes. Speaking of which, we did coordinate with Grove this morning to raise the cost of registering a service. That is not intended to be a barrier or a roadblock for anyone who wishes to register a service on chain. We are just limiting the service registration on mainnet for the purpose of keeping spam and unnecessary network bloat down. If you are waiting to register a service, then please just let us know and we will bring that cost down for you as well. Temporarily as needed to get that service registered. We do intend to settle on a long-term cost of registration of service that is at a very reasonable fee. But I think we need to work out collectively the economics of what a reasonable fee should be. It should be high enough to discourage spamming and bloat on the network, but low enough to not be a barrier to accessibility. And I don't think that we've actually settled on a good number for that yet. So I'm certainly open to input on all of the above if anyone wants to participate in either the Discord chat or we can talk about it in the forum as well. All right. I do believe that's everything on my list. So the floor is open to y'all now. If any other topics need to be brought up or, open topic. Fred says service fee should be really high. Having clean service catalog is extremely important for any new users. And also, in my opinion, it should be a burn. I think I agree with that in theory, unless I hear a good argument otherwise.
Oh, sorry, Jinx.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say my thoughts on this are pretty clear. Like if an institutional user like JP Morgan Chase or Swift or Ripple, just opens up the catalog and they see 3 different flavors of Ethereum, they're going to throw their hands up and be like, what the fuck is this? This looks like crap. And then they're just going to walk away. Like it's going to be a non-starter. So just maintaining a very, very clean and streamlined catalog of services, I think is going to be really key for any new entrant into the network, especially an institutional one.
Yeah, and I also agree in regards to burn versus just like staking against a service. I feel like that should be just a cost of registering versus a pure stake for that. So that's something that that's something that I think can be discussed as well.
I'm definitely a fan of the burn. It really makes you have to consider an investment into the ecosystem. You have to be a net purchaser, and then it also helps with tokenomics by decreasing the supply.
Yeah, I mean, any of those mechanisms that permanently remove tokens from the ecosystem drive us towards additional deflationary mechanisms. So I'm 100% in favor of that. And also, it's interesting that looking at Pocket Scan, we have about 80% of the total tokens migrated from Morse to Shannon. So the actual circulating supply on Shannon is 20% lower than what the total token count is. And I'm in favor of further burning. Also, I'm going to say that, given that the network is permissionless on staking all around, that's not something that I can enforce in any meaningful way. But I do think it would be a good idea for maybe some standards to be adopted regarding resource naming on the network. One of the things that we see on many other networks is that validators and such are just named whatever the hell all over the place. And while that's certainly your right to do so, much like the service catalog, it can make it a little confusing to easily figure out what you're trying to engage with or delegate to, or which services you're registering on. So I would welcome a conversation around, adopting some general standards of service and other nomenclature approaches to the network. Anaski asks, any news on foundation validator staking? Yeah, that was all happening over the course of the last 7 days. If you are an F-Chains provider who is part of the foundation validator setup, you should have heard from Tracy already, and that's probably something that um, something that is ready to do if you're not already staked. But I've been checking the list over the last few days. I am seeing those validators coming online. So if you have any questions or if you haven't been in communication with Tracy and you are ready to stake, then please do reach out. I think Kansu was also helping to coordinate that while Tracy's been in and out on the road. Well, hell yeah, Weaver's nodes, and we're ready for them. Fred notes that XRPL EVM does a good job on this regarding nomenclature. Your listing on chain is an advertisement, so you probably want to be serious. And also, they have integration with identity providers. Yeah, agreed completely. You can name your validator or service, buttfart69 if you want to, but that's probably not going to be attractive to the serious players who are making determinations on where they delegate to, which services they are selecting for use when they're sending their own data, etc. All of the core network functions. So the more professionally and clear you are using in naming standards that you're using when setting these things up on the network, I think the more likely you are to attract additional delegation and such. For instance, if you are running node master, node running services, and you're running validators, you might want to call that, node master val 01 and 02 and 03, etc. So that's something to keep in mind when you're staking on the network and setting up that infra. Michael specifically asked about incentives on the P&L. Yes, we do run liquidity incentives on staking not on staking, liquidity providing on Aerodrome and Orca. So I always, if you are on those networks, I certainly encourage to place liquidity positions out on Aerodrome and Orca. So that you can get those rewards back. I participate in the Aerodrome side because I'm a big base fan. When you provide liquidity on Aerodrome, you earn Aero along with the additional incentives. So that's, you are certainly rewarded for participating in that. Fred notes that there are some good examples on chain if you want to look, and has provided a command line command in the chat. So if you're on video, zoom in close and look at that. Otherwise, if you're in the Discord, you can come in here even when the call is not active and go back through to find those. Yep, Aerodrome is aerodrome.finance. And I think if you just search Orca Solana, you can find the Solana version of that. Oh, in regards to bridging, that's a good topic to bring up while we're here. We originally had been engaged with the founder of Axelar in regards to getting our Axelar integration done. He has since left the organization, and they have changed their terms pretty significantly. Previously, there was, and as a matter of fact, if you go on Google and you search Axelar integration fee, the AI response says Axelar does not charge an integration fee. That has changed. They now have some pretty hefty, actually, Olshansky, sure, by all means.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to jump in to make sure that we get all the facts straight to avoid confusion in the future.
Sure.
So what happened with bridging is that in the past, the founder of Axelar, we had a couple conversations, and the story was that they'll provide free integration with a IBC/Cosmos enabled chain. Now, why would they do things for free? It's because at the moment you are on IBC and you integrate with XLR, there are fees going back and forth when you go cross-chain. And as we all know, kind of the PMF of crypto and blockchains are fees, whether it's stablecoin fees or paying for relay fees. It's fees across the board, whether for transferring value or money. XLR hasn't been, or actually I can't, I don't have the data there, but the crypto markets are turbulent and they can no longer offer the service for free. So it's quite expensive. So what we're doing right now is exploring a few different options with two goals in mind. Goal one is interoperability cross chains. Goal two is native EVM support. There are tons of ways of doing this. Like Chainlink has their own interop protocol. There's IBC. We can build a custom bridge. And so the status of things right now is, the foundation, Grove, and the Radial team, we're just exploring all options and taking trade-offs between cost, time to market, figuring out what a short-term solution is versus a long-term solution. And as soon as we nail down a plan with the right trade-offs, we'll definitely communicate it out to everyone ASAP. And Jinx, feel free to add anything if I missed details.
Yeah, exactly. We're certainly not understanding of the shifting landscape of that, but we were very much prepped for the transaction fee based approach, and the changes to those terms have made us re-explore that. But that being said, Raid Guild has been our engineering partner through a number of these projects, including the previous WPOKT bridge, and so we are taking advantage of all of our engineering partners to find the fastest and most cost-effective route to getting bridging back online. I am, disappointed that it has taken this amount of time to get us back there. I know a lot of folks who prefer to trade in DEX have been waiting to be able to bridge back across, and we will get that rolling again as quickly as we can. Other questions, thoughts, topics? I see crypto typing. For DevDAO, launch dates will be announced publicly soon, but dates have been confirmed internally. Good. We've been waiting to see y'all go live for some time. As we're getting towards a potential wrap up, if we don't see a lot more, I will note that the governance topic thread is still up and getting discussed a bit in regards to actual integration and what that might look like from an engineering perspective on what needs to be built versus what already exists. We are not in a hurry on that. We want to make sure that we do it right. We know that it potentially opens up some other complexities that we have to make sure are well accounted for. So please make sure that you do jump in and take a look at that thread. Also, there are some questions around the actual disbursement model and mechanism for the Shannon reward pool allowance. I know that there were some thoughts around the actual timing of that. There is a 4-year vest on that totally, but the initial framing of it had a 1-year cliff before the 4-year vest started. And I think that there have been some important points brought up on both sides regarding the timing of when that vesting starts. So make sure you take a look at that thread in the forum and add your thoughts there as well. Crypto says he's getting 100 services from the all services gRPC endpoint. Which one is this coming from? I guess that's some more communication on how many total services we actually have active. Regular RPC public endpoint, and Ramiro asks pagination.
Yeah, you got to be careful with pagination when you do a query like this. So make sure that you're actually getting all of them. The pages will truncate at 50 or 100 entries typically.
Beautiful.
This is very tactical, but we've all been hitting issues with pagination. If you want to list suppliers, there's a -- dehydration flag so that the payload can be bigger. And as we start getting into territory where we're not just, there's civilization territory, there's innovation territory, there's like micro feature territory. One of the micro features we'll be adding is just working on all these kinks. But for obvious reasons, we're not prioritizing them against the features that are the core value proposition that create POKT a great product. I know we're not closing off yet, but I do have one, let's call it a bit of a teaser. So we do have a community member who is helping us out bring LLMs on chain. Again, I don't want to commit to specific dates or timelines, but we've got some early POCs in flight. Even the PR from Ramiro, we're kind of getting that moving. So between on-chain PRs and some Grove infrastructure and everything, and support from a community member, right now, things are moving, and hopefully next week I'll be able to provide more concrete details. But that's something, a bit of a teaser, so that all of you guys join next Wednesday as well.
Beautiful. Well, we'll be looking forward to that when that happens. Any other final thoughts before we call it a day? All righty. Well, thanks everybody, and we will see you again next Wednesday, same time, same channel.